Exoneration will introduce you to mothers, sons, wives, boyfriends of all races, creeds, and walks of life, all united by one chilling bond. They have all served hard time for crimes they did not commit. They have all seen time wasted and lives destroyed by these wrongful convictions. And they have all ultimately been exonerated. But now they must face the challenge of reclaiming their lives.
It all started the morning of Thursday, March 4th, 1992, when prosperous land speculator and art dealer Roger LeBird was found in the library of his 220-acre estate, dead of a single bullet to the head from his own gun. The body was discovered by his longtime girlfriend, Beverly Monroe.
I met the neighbor who was helping him on the farm, and that's when we discovered it. And that part I still have a lot of trouble talking about. It's still too raw.
In his initial report, the coroner ruled the death a suicide. But on June 3rd, 1992, Beverly was contacted by a state police detective to complete paperwork on Roger's case. Little did she know that the detective had already spoken to the DA about plans to coax a confession out of Beverly for the murder of Roger LeBird. He arranged a meeting at a nearby park.
So when he called me at work, I didn't think anything about it. He got in my car, and it was then that he hit me with this accusation and this unthinkable accusation.
What was supposed to have been a brief meeting lasted all day. This information was never recorded.
He kept me there in that car for 2.5 hours. He literally forced me to sign what he had written. It was the only way that I would not have been arrested that day and my life ruined. You know, think about a trial. We thought if we just went through this and held our heads high and told the truth, nothing else terrible could happen. It would be straightened out. That's not the way it works. Not at all.
Wrongful convictions can occur in many ways. Sometimes it's a case of mistaken identity. For Beverly, it came from false testimony from a surprise witness whom Beverly had never even met.
And I had no idea that they would bring someone to the courtroom with an absolute false story from start to finish and use this person as a so-called star witness, one to create a scenario that would fit the murder scenario, and the other to make me out to be some bad character who was sneaking around in the cemetery trying to buy a gun. I was convicted of first-degree murder. You can't believe you're convicted. You hear those words coming from the jury, the clerk, and the judge.
Beverly's trust in the system disappeared as she was sentenced to life in prison.
That's when you realize you'll never see them again. You can't talk to them, you can't touch them. And that somebody can do this to you and your family, why? But they can, and they do. The essence of my story is how people banded together, not having a clue of how to fight this battle.
After years of false hope and denied appeals, Beverly finally received a ruling in her favor. On March 28, 2002, a U.S. federal district court judge vacated Beverly Monroe's conviction on the basis that prosecutors concealed material exculpatory evidence at trial.
The Assistant Attorney General was trying to make an excuse for why there was no tape. And Judge Williams broke in and said something to the effect that, don't even go there. I don't want to hear it. And it was the first thing that had ever been said by any judge or any court that gave me any hope or any feeling that someone might really understand.
Beverly Monroe was eventually exonerated and released from prison. The state of Virginia's appeal of her exoneration was denied, and yet it's not over.
But at least we have some vindication and exoneration and proof that it was all wrong. It doesn't get my life back. He doesn't get those 13, 14, 15 years back that we spent fighting this. But it's better than being in prison and not ever having to clear your name and having no hope. So not only have you, it's not about the years you spend in prison so much, it's the toll. You can't really describe how much the toll is. And you lose, above all, you lose your trust.
The fight for her freedom was an expensive one. The attorneys, detectives, and court costs she paid over her 15-year battle cost Beverly her home, her retirement account, and even her belongings. Finding work has proven nearly impossible.
It doesn't matter what kind of education you have, a master's degree in chemistry. Well, so what? I can't be normal again. I can't be as naive, and I'm still naive, but I can't be as naive and trusting as I used to be because I can't believe in it.
The effects of her wrongful conviction reach far beyond Beverly herself.
Kitty was a young attorney. She left her job after 6 months on the leave of absence. It turned out to be permanent for 10 years. You don't get that back. You can't rebuild. You know, Gavin didn't get to finish college. Shannon didn't get to go to graduate school. I don't get my career back. I mean, why should it be so rare to overturn a case where everything was wrong and you can prove it? It's because they're conditioned to think you're not going to win. You're not supposed to win. And so the good thing for us is we didn't accept that. And my kids never gave up. They just did not. And my friends, they did not give up. And that made a huge difference. Factually, legally, psychologically, every other way. But it was absolute rarity that we won.